Hey everybody, it's Allie and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, October 15th, 2017. Now that was a Friday cliffhanger. I loved Thursday and Friday's show, but specifically I felt like I was kind of transported back to being this 15, 16-year-old girl watching Y&R on summer vacation. The Friday cliffhanger comes up and I'm dying that I have to wait the entire weekend to find out what's gonna happen on Monday. I just thought it was excellent, and it also kind of reminded me of the time that Victor had his heart attack in front of Jack, and Jack could have called to help him and he just walks out the door instead. It was just so excellent. This week started out so innocently and on really kind of a high note for the Abbotts, and then by Friday it was completely ruined for so many people. Ashley is being honored with this prestigious award that John Abbott, her father, yes, that's right, her father, John Abbott, also had won years ago, and Jack is planning this beautiful dinner celebration for Ashley where she's surrounded by her friends and her family. Tracy arrives in town as a ray of sunshine. I just love that woman, and I like seeing her maybe just in small bursts too, because she just has this, I don't know, like almost perky presence about her. She's funny and quirky and smart and savvy and sweet and loving, and there's just something about like, I just want a big hug from Tracy. I just like her being up in the mix, and I like what she adds as far as humor to the show. There was a moment where Tracy notices how distracted Ashley is. She should be focusing on her award dinner, and instead something else is on Ashley's mind, and Tracy is in the background at the Abbott, in the Abbott living room, and she makes a racy joke knowing that Ashley isn't even listening, and I just died at the idea of this hunky pro football wrestler guy coming in and having his way with Tracy right there on the Abbott living room couch. I love her. I thought that was so fun. And of course, Ashley fills Tracy in on Project Who is Graham Bloodworth, and since there are no records of a man or any person with this name in Genoa City schools, Tracy, in her infinite wisdom, decides to pull out one of her old yearbooks and look for other people named Graham, and she comes across this like full mullet photo of Graham Davis. Oh, well, that couldn't be him. You know, this guy's Graham Davis. He was sort of a loner, didn't seem very happy. Surely that's not him. But, you know, of course, Ashley sees, and, you know, those piercing eyes, no matter the mullet. I mean, the mullet it's been shortened and it's gone gray, but those eyes belong to that man who everyone else is knowing as Graham Bloodworth. Ashley knows it's him, but at the same time, she's still trying to put together, as we the audience are, the pieces of who this man really is. As she says later on in the week, I know the who, I know the what, I just don't know the why. So she takes that information and keeps it under her hat for a little while longer. Now, I have to mention that there was this great little scene before the actual dinner celebration slash blow up where Jack invites everyone at Jabot into his office for a pre-event champagne toast in Ashley's honor, and he gives this really excellent speech. I don't know if this is the end of the current writing regime or if it's the beginning of the new writing regime, but there was this great moment where Jack is kind of giving a retrospective on Ashley's career, saying all of the things that she's accomplished, in the past up to today, all of the things in her career that led to this really big moment for her. And it was so well written. It was so chock full of character history. I didn't realize that Ashley started out as a chemist at Jabot using an assumed name specifically so that she wouldn't get preferential treatment for being John Abbott's daughter. And I thought, wow, that was such an interesting and ironic thing to bring up, especially right now. Ashley, when her career started, didn't want special treatment for being John Abbott's daughter, and now here we are in the present where Graham will later accuse her of getting preferential treatment for being John Abbott's daughter when that's not really the case. So I just thought that was such a great little tidbit, a little nugget to bring up, especially on this occasion and in this situation. At the dinner, top of the tower, Ashley, surrounded by all of her closest friends and family. Jack has pulled out all the stops. He's got beautiful floral arrangements. He's got Ashley's favorite chef cooking the meal. There are these photos on an LCD screen in the background showing all of the Abbotts there with their father. Everyone's so proud of Ashley and the person that she's become and the accomplishments that she has under her belt. And Tracy reads this adorable poem that she wrote when she was younger about how much she admires her sister. It was perfect. It was such a perfect way to honor Ashley. And then everything just took this wild and bizarre and uncomfortable turn out of nowhere. I mean, what people are saying all these nice things about Ashley, and Graham starts prodding Dina to make a little speech, which I thought was, I mean, it's appropriate. That's her mother. She could, should say a few words, but the words that Dina chose maybe weren't the best. She's mostly kind of talking about her own guilt and saying, that she feels so bad for leaving her family. And honestly, Ashley tried to stop her because it wasn't something that probably should have been said in front of everyone. These are conversations that Ashley and Dina need to work out in private. It's part of their private relationship. But when Ashley tried to stop Dina from saying those things, Graham jumped in to defend Dina and just started being rude toward Ashley on her big night. And Ashley was not having it. She pounced. I mean, if anything was holding her back from unleashing the truth about Graham, it was gone in that moment. She just called him out as Graham Davis, born and raised in Genoa City, along with the mother that he's been lying about. She just let it all rip right there in front of Dina, in front of everyone. And at first, Graham tried to coolly play it off as if he had no idea what Ashley was talking about. Maybe she's had a little bit too much to drink, but then out of nowhere, he just snapped. He just snapped, and he stood there giving this, honestly, beyond awkward, full confession to everything. It was so weird, and I was so shocked that he would be standing there, saying all of this. I mean, first of all, I just have to address the fact that it was so wooden. Graham is so wooden. I mean, even though he was saying exactly everything that he did up until now, he was enunciating all of his words, and it wasn't very big. He played it really small. I guess I kind of wanted to see, if Graham is this great big villain, I kind of wanted to see the guy snap, and I don't know if it was bad acting or if it was just an acting choice. I have no idea, but it played weird. It felt false. It felt wooden. It didn't feel emotional. It just felt cold. And okay, on top of that, it came out of nowhere. I mean, Graham standing there confessing to everything came out of nowhere. All of these years that he's been planning this whole thing, like, this is so elaborate that he would find Dina, seek her out, become her confidant, somehow over the course of time get her to change her will, and he's gonna confess to everything right now in front of everyone, and that's somehow still supposed to work out in his favor? I mean, he had to have snapped. He could not have intended to say all of this at the dinner party, but then of course he wasn't expecting Ashley to call him out. But it just, for something that seemed like a snap, I didn't get that from the actor. He was just standing there like a piece of cardboard. It was bizarre. But he basically said, yeah, Ashley, fine, it's all true. Everything you're saying is totally true. You know what? Dina in the past was a floozy. My stepfather, Brent Davis, was wooed away from my mother and my family to go be with Dina, but she never wanted him. And so, you know what? I just wanted to get revenge on her. I, an adult man, have committed my life to seeking revenge on my mother and on another woman who took a man who was not even that great of a prize away from my mother. I mean, what kind of, it's I don't know. I don't know if this is where the old writing regime is starting to kind of fall apart, but it was just weird. I mean, and not only that, but he starts going on about, like, really unleashing it toward Ashley, like, you guys have no idea what I had to go through growing up poor and disadvantaged, and we had to live out of our car, which is, you know, that's, you know, that part's bad. But then he starts, like, turning it to Ashley, saying, you know, Ashley, you got to enjoy being an abbot and all that came with it. And, like, Dina is just sitting there in shock. She's just in shock. And I think that little by little, she just, like, she kind of, like, came unhinged, like, little pieces started breaking apart in her mind. And in the middle of Graham revealing that Brent was his stepfather, she blurts out that, what? You know, not only are you betraying me, but this is all about Brent Davis? Ashley's father? Brent Davis? You know, Ashley's father? Brent Davis? Ashley's father? Brent Davis? No, I'm just kidding. She only said it once. It was just like this one slip, like, but you know, I mean, it's the sound of it almost echoing through the room. I mean, like, you could almost see this wave of WTF just rolling over the crowd, rolling over Ashley, and like, you know, like, and Graham, of course, being happy that Dina has had this slip, he, like, proposes a toast to Ashley, the untrue abbot, and everyone is just sitting there like, huh. Ashley doesn't look shocked, Jack doesn't look shocked, but everybody else in the room is like, I mean, Graham's big secret being revealed, like, was kind of secondary in a way, because I think now, like, everybody's just sitting there quietly knowing Ashley's secret in the room now. I don't know how Abby and Tracy are ultimately going to react, by the way, because, I mean, like, everybody else is kind of, well, that's, you know, that's interesting, but it doesn't change our opinion on Ashley. I mean, I think that Tracy will be okay with it. I mean, of course, she has enough wisdom to be okay with it, but I do specifically wonder how this information is going to be taken by Abby. Is she going to be upset with her mother? Is she going to be upset with Dina? Is it going to change the course of her career, or, you know, or her character, or is it just going to contribute more to her, you know, feeling of isolation, and maybe, you know, drive her out of town so that the actress can have her baby? I'm not sure. It's going to be bad for Abby in the future. She's got two shocks coming her way. But here's the thing that really surprised me above a lot else of the information. Okay, after Ashley exposes Graham and Graham exposes Ashley, Graham is actually thinking that Dina is gonna leave with him. He tries to escort her out of the party, and I don't understand how he thinks he's going to stand there and basically call Dina a floozy and ruin her daughter's big night and think that Dina's going to be okay with it and just walk out the door with him. Everybody else, this is another reason why just Graham's motives just and his mind frame, it's not clicking with me. I'm having a hard time understanding. But everyone else in the room is like, no, you're obviously a scumbag, Graham, and there's no way we're gonna let you leave with Dina. There's no way anybody should ever leave him alone with Dina ever again. Neil ends up kind of ushering him out of the party, and then one by one, everybody else kind of leaves the party befuddled. It was so weird the way it just broke off, just leaving Ashley there humiliated. This is her worst case scenario on what's supposed to be one of the best days of her life. I mean, she's just mortified. In fact, she later has a conversation with Jack and says, "Do you think people are gonna see me differently now?" I thought that was so sad that that's even in her mind, that anyone would think differently of her not being John Abbott's biological father when he is the man who raised her, who taught her everything she knows. I mean, we should know by now that it's, having your biological parent has less of an influence on you than the person who raises you. So it was sad that she felt that way, and I really felt for her. In fact, also, I felt for Dina. I mean, I really did. Ashley comes up to Dina. Okay, so they have to have their moment together of discussing what just happened. And Ashley just says, "I feel like a part of me died tonight. Like the part of me that was John Abbott's daughter, it feels like it died a little tonight." And Dina responds to her saying, "Me too. I feel like a part of me died tonight too." I don't know if that's going to be some dramatic foreshadowing or something like that, but I will tell you, as I watched Dina realize what was happening to her with Graham, realize what accidentally slipped out of her mouth, that her biggest secret, the secret that she would kill to keep quiet, slipped out of her mouth, it just out of nowhere in front of everyone, I cried. She made me cry. I mean, of course I felt bad for Ashley, but for some reason, and it's just probably the power of the actress, I just really honed in with Dina, and I just wept. I'm like, oh my God, she has to feel so terrible because she did some, not only has she been fooled, but she did something to hurt her daughter, and she didn't mean to, and I'm putting myself in her shoes, and I can't imagine how horrible that would feel, just hurting your daughter on accident like that. And on top of it all, knowing that Ashley might never forgive her for this, and I don't know if that's going to be the case. I don't know. I mean, the conversation between Ashley and Dina kind of broke off with Ashley just upset and leaving. I hope that Ashley's going to find a way to come to terms with this, and I think she's mature enough to. We've seen signs of that, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed. But like, Jack was kind of crappier toward Dina than Ashley even was. Jack takes Dina back home to her hotel room suite and does not sugarcoat anything. He pretty much says to her, "Yeah, you messed up. We're gonna do our best to fix what you did starting tomorrow when you call your lawyer and write Graham out of your will immediately." Well, of course, Jack and Dina are having this conversation, and who's standing outside of the whole hotel room door hearing everything? Graham. After Jack leaves Dina alone in her hotel room, Graham lets himself right on into her room using his hotel key card. Why? Is he gonna try to get back on her good side now after all of this? That makes no sense. Does he still honestly think in any universe that he's gonna get her money? This, like, if this was Graham's grand master plan, it was the worst. And not only that, but why is he bothering with Dina at all? Doesn't he hate her every bit as much as his mother does? Like, I don't understand. Does Graham care for Dina? Does Graham hate Dina? I don't understand Graham, and I feel like it's a big gap in the writing. I wish that they didn't decide just 2 weeks ago to make him a bad guy and then not really fill in a whole lot of the blanks. It made no sense to me that he would even be there or expect to be allowed in or expect to still be her companion right there by her side. Of course they start to argue he's betrayed her. He's admitted that he's betrayed her. They start to argue, and Dina tries to call her lawyer to change her will on the spot. This is a surprise apparently to Graham. He tries to talk her out of it. When that doesn't work, he tries to take her phone away from her, like grabs it out of her hand. And I got this immediate sense of danger. I mean, honestly, the second he let himself into her room with his key card, I got this sense of danger, like, oh my gosh, is he gonna do something to her? Is he gonna hurt her? Is he gonna kill her? I mean, I don't know if Dina got that sense too. I don't know if everybody else in the audience got that sense, like he could kill her right now, but he didn't have to. She gets so overwhelmed by everything that's happening. She just like faints back on the couch and then slumps over and passes out on the floor with Graham standing there over her. Like, it was such a great scene though, honestly, because I did like that part of the story, because just the visual image of Dina passed out on the floor and Graham standing there over her, I thought, what is going through his head right now? I mean, because there's probably a million things going through Graham's head right now. First of all, is everybody, like, my first thought was, is everybody gonna think that Graham killed her and he didn't really kill her? But then Graham has a moment where he grabs his phone and he is thinking, his instinct is to dial to get some help for Dina. And then just in an instant, we see a new idea dawning on Graham, and he hangs up the phone. With Dina dead, him not having to do it, he still inherits every last dime of hers, hands clean. Oh, she passed out on the floor, something happened, I had nothing to do with it, wasn't even here in the hotel. Oh, I guess I'll take my billions now. So, Graham decides that that's his course of action. He just kind of slowly walks toward the door, leaving Dina lying there, opens it up, hangs the do not disturb tag on the door, and walks away, cold as ice. I don't know what is next for Graham. I don't know what's next for Dina, but specifically it feels like Y&R has just decided that Graham is this super evil guy. So I don't know what's gonna come next for him. I don't know exactly how I feel about him or what I want to come next for him, because last week I would have said, let's keep Graham on the show. I like him. There's a lot of potential there. But then watching what he just did to Dina, I'm ready to like put him in a basket with Kyle and just blow a bunch of holes in it. I don't know if I'm alone in that, but I would love to get your opinions. That's our poll for this week. Would you like to see Graham stay in Genoa City, or do you want to see him hit the road? Is there more that we can develop around Graham that you would like to see, or did that just turn your stomach and turn you off? YRChat.com if you want to leave some opinions and comments and vote in the poll and let me know what you think you'd like to see for Graham now. Billy and Phyllis come home from the party, and Billy is upset that Ashley could keep this secret from him. I mean, don't you hate that when people you love and trust keep secrets from you? Last week, Jack gave Phyllis the heads up, all of the information about Billy's fishing expedition using her laptop and her trust, and I'm not surprised that Phyllis doesn't want to believe that Billy would do such a thing. But he did, not once, not twice, but many times. So, after Jack tells her everything, she goes home and she sets a trap for Billy. She leaves the computer wide open, sends messages to herself, knowing that he can't resist the dinging on the laptop. I mean, she's really tempting him to go dig in. And sure enough, like a moth to a flame, Billy goes over there and starts logging into the system using Dina's password, and Phyllis is standing up in the foyer watching the whole thing. I'm torn because I like half sort of admire the way that Phyllis played it so cool, but at the same time I'm like, why are you playing it so cool? Like, I would have been instantly furious with Billy. I think I would have run down the stairs and strangled him. I would have picked up all of his things and kicked them out of my apartment, but Phyllis gave Billy a big benefit of the doubt. She's still giving him the benefit of the doubt, even though he didn't pass the test. I'm surprised. Last week, I asked you guys in our poll question if you think that Phyllis should forgive Billy for hacking Jabot using her computer. 85% of you said no way. This would and should destroy their relationship for good. I mean, the majority of us were expecting, I think, Phyllis to find out about this and to hit the roof, and that the relationship with Billy would just be over, but that is certainly not the case. What a surprise. I'm trying to get into Phyllis's mind frame. The only things that I can think is that Phyllis, like, first of all, I think that she does not want to believe that she just got dogged. I mean, on a human level, I think she just doesn't want to believe that Billy would do such a thing. So she's creating this narrative maybe in her mind, telling herself that there's more to it, and moreover, that this is something that Victoria put Billy up to. Oh, it's not Billy. It couldn't possibly be Billy. It's Victoria. She's the one that's behind him, prodding him, you know, pushing him in the direction of doing all of these bad things to betray me. But she, like, tries. I mean, despite all of this mounting evidence, I think that she's fooling herself and trying really hard to get Billy to confess, trying to bring him back to the light side, hoping that this relationship can be salvaged. Okay, this doesn't have to be the end. We can still work with this. She tries to talk to Billy and convince him to just quit brash and sassy. You know, I mean, Victoria's shady, you know, I mean, in Phyllis's mind, if she could just get Billy away from Victoria, then everything is going to be fine, which is such a false idea anyway. They've got more that connects them than just work. So Phyllis is operating on a wrong assumption here. But, I mean, she does make a good point that what Billy is doing is not just supporting Victoria, but he's also hurting his family company. Jabot is his family company too, so she tries to convince him to be a better man. She says to him, choose love over business. And of course she's talking about this on the surface in terms of Billy's relationship with his brother Jack, but she's speaking about her relationship with him too. Phyllis goes back to Jack's office, and I loved this scene. Loved it. Jack tries to give Phyllis a wake-up call. I mean, she goes back, and I think she doesn't want to eat crow here. She doesn't want to admit that Billy took the bait. She doesn't want to admit that she was wrong. Jack tries to tell her, you are getting played here. Don't let this happen to you. But number one, I think Phyllis doesn't want to be wrong. Number two, I think Phyllis does not want to lose to Victoria. And number 3, and this is the thing that's not being said, I think that Phyllis does not want to admit that she could have ruined a perfectly good marriage with Jack to have this affair, have this relationship with Billy, only to find out that he is a scoundrel. I don't think she wants to admit that she might have made a really big life mistake. And to me, that's the elephant in the room that's not being addressed, and perhaps the more interesting one of all of this. I mean, I'm going to be curious to see where Jack and Phyllis's relationship evolves as everything with Billy continues to unravel. The other reason why I really liked that scene is Jack gave this great speech. Again, he's had a lot of great speeches lately, but he gave this great speech where his hatred for Billy really comes in to full view. I mean, he is saying, he's telling Phyllis how much he just wants Billy to suffer. Billy is the lowest of the low. Billy is not worthy of the Abbott name. In Jack's mind, you've got Ashley here, who is not biologically John Abbott's daughter, yet she embodies all of the qualities that John Abbott would have wanted for his children. And then on the other hand, you have Billy, who is biologically John Abbott's son and is nothing like him, although it's of course calling the kettle black, because Jack is the ultimate anti-John Abbott. But it's almost, I think maybe there's even a piece of it, this is me probably reading in very deeply, but I think that maybe Jack sees himself in Billy, and maybe what he hates in Billy is something that he hates in himself. So it was a great scene where Jack is telling Phyllis that he wants Billy to suffer, he wants Billy to lose everything, he wants Billy to be left with nothing. To which Phyllis responds, he's still gonna have me. I'm still gonna stand by him. I don't know why. Honestly, if it were me, I would not. If it were me, I would be gone. Victoria can have him. I don't need him. I don't need somebody who's going to betray me. So I don't know. Was anybody else, though, like, really kind of focused on Victoria this week and wishing that she were up in the Ashley's drama a little bit? Like, Victoria was invited to the whole party, but for Ashley, but she didn't end up going. She was gonna be Neil's date. I kind of wanted to see that. I like the dynamic between Victoria and Neil. She was early in the week asking him to be a tester for Brash and Sassy's new face mask. It was kind of excellent just to see Neil there with the face mask on and going on and on about how it just took years off of his face. It was funny, it was cute. I don't know if I necessarily want to see Victoria and Neil together. We've tried that in the past, but part of me wants someone, I just want can somebody sleep with Neil? Can we get this man a little bit of something? He needs some lady attention, and why not? Why not? They need to, like, hook him up with somebody or bring somebody on just for him. What about Lois? I loved Lois. I loved that the woman who plays her, she's funny, she's spunky. She would be a great match for Neil. Or just somebody, start casting. Why does Neil have to be so alone? He's a good-looking man. He's got a lot going for him. Why are the ladies not fighting over Neil is my question. So, and I don't know. I'm wondering about Victoria, though. I don't necessarily think that it's headed in a romantic direction with her, but I am also kind of wondering if maybe Victoria is starting to set her sights on another target, like Ravi. What was that whole thing that happened at the end of Friday's show where Victoria and Ravi are at the bar? Ravi is saying way too much, honestly, about the whole family drama that just happened at Ashley's party. Like, Victoria is a competitor, no matter what she says, and she's not exactly a friend of the Abbotts on any level. Mom should have been the word. I don't know why Ravi was blabbing as much as he was, and frankly, I was really surprised that Ravi left Ashley alone at the party after everything that went down. He's been so supportive of her. He's been her partner in crime in finding out everything that they could find out about Graham and to just walk away in the aftermath? I don't care if she told him to go. He should have stood right there by her side anyway. Tessa is packing up to leave the ranch and go move in with her boyfriend Noah, and Mariah, of course, is crushed to see her walk out the door, but she does. Honestly, Tessa looks sad to leave, but I'm getting the impression that Tessa's also really happy to start this new part of her life. And this week I'm just feeling kind of a different perspective on the Tessa and Mariah thing, because I think that maybe Tessa is trying to tell Mariah in the kindest way possible without saying it that she knows Mariah has these feelings, but that she can't return them. I mean, Tessa didn't just forget that Mariah kissed her. It's been hanging in the air without it being acknowledged. And at the same time, I feel like if Tessa would have wanted to act on it, then she would have. I don't get the impression that Tessa is sacrificing anything or trying to deny her feelings for Mariah. I get the impression at this point that Tessa just wants a friend. And maybe Mariah knows that, and maybe that's why she chooses not to say anything. And yet it's created an awkwardness in their friendship. Suddenly now Mariah is stepping way back. She is shutting way down. She is giving Tessa the opportunity to pursue her relationship and her life with Noah. Like, honestly, Mariah is trying to eliminate Tessa from her life and hope that the feelings will go away. Tessa has to force her way into GC Buzz to even get some FaceTime with Mariah because she's ignoring her calls and her texts. Well, on Friday, Tessa comes in to talk to Mariah and insists that they really need to have a talk. They need to be honest about what's going on, and everything that was being said was all very veiled. It was not very specific at all. It was very general, and I think they were just talking about two different things. Once again, I think they are just not on the same page. When they're having this conversation about needing to talk, I think for Mariah, what needs to be talked about is her romantic feelings, but I think what Tessa wants to talk about is everything they just went through with Crystal. I just don't think that Tessa was talking about addressing the romantic feelings that Mariah is having. So I just don't think this heart-to-heart is going to happen anytime soon. I could be wrong, but I'm not wrong in thinking that Mariah is just going to turn around and double down on Devon. For what reason, I don't know. She doesn't need to. I mean, the girl is like, how hard is it for Devon to even figure out that Mariah's not that into him? She's like tired. She's so tired. Look, when a girl tells you she's just too tired to go out twice in the week, she's just not that into you. And meanwhile, every time I turn around, Devon and Hillary are lighting up my screen with chemistry. I am so totally ready for these two to get onto their path to get back together. Honestly, just in the same way that Y&R decided 2 weeks ago that Graham was a bad guy, I think now they are starting to decide that Hillary needs to be dealt with. Her character needs some attention. Hillary is showing some real signs of warming. She's coming back to Earth, y'all. She is ascending back up to Earth, y'all. I'm so happy. I mean, I really liked Hillary this week specifically, because when Jack asked her to cover Ashley's dinner event, I kept thinking, oh no. And then as the drama started unfolding, I was just imagining it all being aired on GC Buzz, but Jack talks to Hillary and asks her to not air any of the footage, and she pretty easily says, okay, I'm gonna back off. I'm not gonna do that to you. So it was Hillary's chance to show that she's evolving, to do the right thing, and she did. It's time for Hillary. It's time. I'm sick of Devon and Mariah. And I'm ready for this new side of Hillary. I'm ready for Hillary and Devon 2.0. Let's get it right this time. Hillary is the only person who's ever made me feel anything for Devon in all of these years. And when she opens up with him and when she shows him a glimpse of this person that he knows she can be, it's like magic. Another random act of kindness by Hillary, she lends Maddie her cell phone so that Maddie can text Reed to schedule a forbidden meeting, a forbidden team love meeting between them. If I were Lily or Kane, I definitely would not appreciate Hillary interfering with my child's punishment, but as a viewer, it was nice to see Maddie and Reed having an ally, because at that point in the story, it was them against the world. Nobody was on their side. Well, they have their forbidden reunion. They're really enjoying just being able to see each other, and who should walk in to spot them? Victoria. Well, seemingly mean old Victoria drags the children back by their ears to Lily's house, and surprise, Victoria and Lily end up having this really great conversation about the kids. And first of all, acknowledging the familiarity of the situation. Here, this is unique because both of these characters have been in this situation. Victoria with Ryan and Lily with Daniel. So it was great. I think that Y&R brought that up, connected it, allowed these two characters to realize it, and more importantly, just to acknowledge that they have really good kids. I mean, both Maddie and Reed are really good kids who can be trusted to do the right thing if they're given a little bit of respect. So the teens have been granted permission to see each other. Yay! That was great. That was a great twist. And I think now all we need to do is like develop a storyline around Charlie. I thought for sure that Colin would be instantly suspicious of Juliet, like a con knowing a con. But instead, when Colin met her, he welcomes her with open arms. It's all hugs and smiles and happiness. It's just really changed between Kane and Juliet. Kane is really stepping it up. He is doing what Juliet and Lily have both asked him to do. He's letting Juliet know that he is leaving on a business trip, but he still wants to be kept in the loop about her, about the baby. He's finding other small ways to let Juliet know that the baby is becoming more and more important to him. But I just worry that Juliet is mistaking Kane's feelings for his child as feelings for her. And furthermore, what is going to happen to this newfound devotion from Kane if something were to happen to the baby? Because no sooner than Kane left her hotel room did she turn around, close the door, and started experiencing cramping pain. I mean, if Juliet were to lose that baby tomorrow, do you think that Kane would still come around? Do you think that Kane would want to have anything to do with her? Nope. I mean, you know it, I know it, and I think Juliet knows it too. Nick gives an impromptu interview with Hillary. He wants to tell the world, including Victor, yeah, you know all of that money that I got from my dad to the tune of $500 million? Well, I'm gonna give it away. You know what? I don't want your money, Dad. In fact, you want it back? I'm gonna give it to you can go find it care of the Abbott Winters Foundation. Go get it. It was surprising. Like when Nick scheduled this meeting with Hillary, I thought he was just gonna go and air all of the family dirty laundry, and then when he said he was just going to be giving away his fortune, at first I thought that he was gonna give it to the audience like Oprah, like you get $1 million and you get $1 million and you get $1 million, and I was ready to line up for my $1 million. But no, he is giving all of the money that he won in that lawsuit against Victor, all of this money that Victor worked really hard to earn, he's giving it away to charity. You know, I kind of respect him for it. It's weird, but I don't know. I sort of think this is a move that makes me like Nick. It makes me respect Nick and the man he's trying to be. Victor has always used this money as a means to control his family and to control their lives. And this is Nick's final way of breaking it. For him to even realize it and then to follow through with that commitment is a big deal. But of course, Nikki's not happy about it, Victoria's not happy about it, and Victor's damn sure not happy about it. And they're finding out all about all of this on Hillary's show, and they're just immediately incensed with Nick. And you know, even though I'm respecting Nick, I'm a little bit worried about him. I'm worried that they might be right to be concerned, because Victor is not going to give up. I mean, he issues this ominous warning to Nick saying that, you know, your money, that money that you got was there as a cushion for you, to save you from yourself. I'm worried that Nick is going to still live a rich lifestyle while not being rich. I'm worried that he is specifically going to overexpand this whole underground club opening project and lose whatever little money he has left. I mean, I love Nick, and Nick has a lot of really good skills, such as sex and joking around and like flashing that charming smile, but business acumen, that ain't one of them. Last week there was a scene where Jack is filling Ashley in about Billy's hacking into the Jabot system, and Ashley's trying to defend Billy. She's hoping that he's going to grow conscience and choose not to log into the server again, to which Jack responds, yeah, there are no unicorns, there are no fairies, and Billy is not just going to grow that conscience. That was our quote from last week. There are no unicorns, there are no fairies. I think it was a hard one to guess that it would have been Jack, but so only 3 people got it right. But hey, those 3 people definitely were tuned into that scene. It was Jillian, Henry, and Angela. Congratulations, you guys. It was a toughie, but you got it. Well done. I kind of like this quote from the week. It's a little bit funny. You can tell me if you know who said it. My sexiest quality is my ability to multitask. I'm kind of a chronic multitasker, so maybe that's my sexiest quality too. If you guys think you know who said my sexiest quality is my ability to multitask, you can go to yrchat.com, leave your guess, and if you get it right, I will give you your shout out on next week's Y&R Chat. So many good comments this week, but I have to start out with the Y&R Chatter update. Zooperplex is back. He has come back to us. We were all very worried about you, Zooperplex, because we know the situation there in Puerto Rico, but I heard from him this week on the website, and it's obviously still not ideal, but Zooperplex is safe, and there's not much more that I could ask for. I'm just so relieved, and I know, you guys were, a lot of you were concerned about it too, and I just wanted to report that one of our Y&R chatters is back to us, all in one piece. So we were sending lots of love your way, so we're all very glad you're back. I also, in a little bit of a happy note, got a message from Marianne with a link to an article reporting that Greg Ricart has been cast on Days of Our Lives. So, our Kevin time, I think, has come to an end for the current stint, and him being cast on Days doesn't necessarily mean that he won't be able to come back and do more work with Y&R. So we may still be seeing Kevin come back here and there, and if you are a Days of Our Lives fan, then that's good for you. I just think this is great for the actor. I think think he's so very talented, excuse me, and I think it's very exciting to think of him getting a new character and getting the chance to do something different. And I mean, who knows, maybe it's something that could turn into a long-term gig for him. And that's so rare, I think, to get kind of unceremoniously ushered off of one soap that you've been at for 14 years and to just get picked up at another one. I mean, those jobs are very rare. So I'm really pleased that he was able to secure that for himself. And if there are any other days of our lives fans out there, you'll have to keep us updated on how it's going. Consuela at yrchat.com is listing another one of Nick's skills that is important, but that I missed. Consuela says, Nick is a great father, and you can tell that he loves his children. It really came out on Monday's episode when Noah asked him about his bank account. Nick could have thrown Victor under the bus, but he didn't. That's one thing I've noticed about Nick. He hardly ever talks bad about Victor in front of his kids unless he's forced to, and even then, he just tells them the facts based on what Victor has done. So I'm glad you said that, Consuela. Nick is such a good guy, and he is a good father in addition to his other skills of being good at sex and stuff. But the ironic thing, I think, is that Victor's war against Nick is currently based on the fact that Victor perceives Nick as trying to turn his grandchildren against him, keep his grandchildren from him. And we know, as the audience, that that really couldn't be further from the truth. Nick has had many opportunities to do that if he wanted to, and he doesn't. And that speaks a lot about Nick's character, and it speaks a lot about Victor's egomania. T. Nicole at yrchat.com says, I don't get the big deal about Nick giving his money away. Everyone else still has their own trust fund to spend as they please. Plus, did no one care that Victor drained his checking account? What if he just let Victor drain the rest of his trust? And then what would his family say? I don't get how Nick is making the war worse when he was doing his own thing and then Victor went to drain his account. Is donating the money to charity awful? How is that making it all worse? Yeah, good point. I don't know, Victoria and Nikki, I think that they were right in their concern about Nick, but I think that they were wrong in thinking that it was, you know, just they were acting like it was a horrible thing to do, and no one was really holding Victor accountable for the actually horrible thing that he did. Sharita at yrchat.com says, Nick thinks he has nothing left to lose because he has his lady and his children. I can see Victor retaliating and suing for custody of Christian, stating that Adam is the dad. Nick will find out that Chelsea knew all along, and just like that, Nick is suffering again at the hands of Victor. He doesn't even have a clue that Victor will always win. Yeah, I keep wondering if that paternity thing is going to pop up here sooner rather than later. And about Victor always winning, I think it's interesting. All of Victor's enemies have had to learn that lesson the hard way. Victor always wins. Kiki on YouTube said, wasn't really feeling the Victoria scene with Lily when she took the kids to confess. Yes, I believe it was a good thing to say she believes the kids shouldn't suffer for their parents' bad behavior, but it should not have been said in front of the kids at that moment. She should have talked to Lily one-on-one. It came off as pressure from her boss, who just gave her a new job to just agree. If Lily disagreed, she would look like the bad guy. That scene made me uncomfortable. I didn't even think of that, Kiki, but I really like that point. I mean, Victoria is in a power position over Lily. I mean, I didn't perceive it that way. I'm just glad that they came to what I think is kind of the right conclusion, but good point. Sandra at yrchat.com says, what will Mariah do with all those tears? And why do I foresee her overcompensating with Devon, going away on their little trip and coming home, ... pregnant? Oh, no, please no, just please no, Y&R. I hope that's not the case. Oh man. Marion at yrchat.com says, Phyllis and Billy had such potential and real chemistry when they were fighting to be together. Now Billy has thrown it all away. He doesn't deserve Phyllis anymore. T. Nicole at yrchat.com says, I did agree with Jack with what he was saying to Phyllis, that she's putting all her blame on Victoria, when regardless if Victoria flat out asked Billy to hack her computer, Billy agreed to it. Plus, let's say Brash and Sassy goes completely under, Victoria will always be there because of the children and her and Billy share. And if Billy and Victoria are now unemployed, what's stopping them from starting another project or a business together? Oh, Lisa left me a voicemail this past week and said, I felt so sorry for Jack when Phyllis said, you know, Billy knows me well too. During that last scene when Phyllis comes back after having set the trap for Billy. Lisa says, it's a slap in Jack's face, because you could still tell that Jack really does still care about Phyllis, even though he has an underlying feeling of meanness toward her. He does care, and she just turns so cold and walked out the door with her flirtatious move toward Billy. I'm glad you mentioned that specifically, Lisa, because I thought I was the only one that was really honed in to Jack and Phyllis in that scene, and her walking out the door with Billy and saying that comment about, wait till you see my dress for tonight, I picked it out with you in mind. That was meant to sting Jack. That's why I think that Phyllis and Jack's relationship is a bigger part of Phyllis's motive to stay with Billy right now than maybe she would like to admit. Oh, Linda left me a voicemail with a good little theory here, saying, do you think that Zach could kidnap Abby and that's how the actress will go out on maternity leave? That would give Scott a reason to be in the mix. Yeah, I wonder, that we've taken a break from that. We really had no sex trafficking storyline this past week, but I wonder if it is going to be a combination of whatever happens with Zach and this revelation of her mother's paternity that is going to certainly drive Abby out of town. I don't know, would they kidnap her long term? And you know what, these days they can shoot they can shoot around her pregnancy very, pretty well easily. Shoot some scenes in advance, so she might not even be gone that long. So it's possible that they could do something like that. Robbie at yrchat.com says, I love that Ashley is at the center of this major storyline. Eileen Davidson is killing it. Agreed. Harper left me a voicemail saying, I was disappointed that Graham cracked so easily. Wait, Graham cracked Graham Cracker? I just made that connection. Graham crackered too easily. Harper says, Ashley said 2 words to him and then all of a sudden he sang like a canary. And stepfather. Why did they have to make Brent his stepfather? Why couldn't Y&R have just made Graham and Ashley related? Totally agree, Harper, and like that didn't really wash over me until you said it. The fact that now that the choice, I just think it would have been such more of an interesting choice to make Graham this outsider Abbott, but that is not the way they decided to go. It was a very specific choice that they made Brent his stepfather, so there is no relation there. So I don't know what that says as far as Graham's long-term potential for the show. I guess that is remain to be seen. But yeah, it was weird. It just, ugh. Sharita at yrchat.com says, if Brent Davis is stepfather to Graham, then who's his real dad? Why doesn't he have a relationship with him? Is it possible that Graham's dad is another Genoa City person? I keep thinking that they're going to keep Graham on the show, so there's got to be some connection that's going to keep him in town other than hatred toward Ashley and Jack, but that's a good question about his real father. Gary had left me a voicemail really zoning in on the speech that Neil had made after all of the drama went down, and Gary was just really admiring the way that Neil jumped in there and spoke from his heart and just wanted to bring the situation back to a positive note and end it that way. And yeah, I mean, Neil is like the star of the week in a lot of ways, right? I mean, he's just been so cool this entire week, cool and funny and smart and heartfelt, and yeah, that was a really great moment. I was just stunned at how awkward it was. I was kind of more in the the Abby camp, as she said, how can we even go on to be normal after this has happened? But yeah, I think that Neil did give us a really great friendship moment there. Diana at yrchat.com says, I don't think it was right of Ashley and Jack to leave their mother alone for the evening in their room and her room at the club after they found out what Graham was all about and that he's out for revenge. I know that Ashley and Jack are both very upset with their mother, but she still needs protecting regardless. She's an elderly lady who just went through an extremely stressful evening. She's found out that Graham is not the man she thought he was, and that she let Ashley's secret out by mistake. I think they should both feel guilty if anything happens to their mother. I totally agree. Graham could be dangerous, and they just left her there. Makes no sense on many levels. Oh, Anna left me a voicemail. Says to me, this dawns on me for the first time when Anna says it, do you suppose that Dina could actually be dead? No, I had not supposed that, but now that you mention it, I got a voicemail after that from Gary saying, you know, it is possible that Dina could be dead. They could have been bringing her on so that she could go out in a glorious bang. Gary says, I don't think that could happen, but I just wonder if they would want to give Graham a bunch of money to battle it out with Jack and Ashley. I didn't think of that, but now that you guys have said it, I wonder. I do wonder. Oh, I hope not. If Dina dies, I'm going to be so upset. She's like the best thing that's happened to the show in the past, I don't know, years. I love her. Keep her on. I need Dina. She's dynamic. She's dazzling. I love her. Don't kill Dina. And then also I got this message for this comment from Sandra at yrchat.com saying, without giving anything away, I did read an interview with Marla Adams, soon to turn 80 years old, never had a facelift, doesn't color her hair. And she said October will be filled with drama with her at the forefront. I just hope it's not negative draw. I just don't want her to die. I just hope they don't do that. But I also love, Sandra, that you told me that she mentioned specifically that she's never had a facelift, doesn't dye her hair. That's just another reason why I like her. I specifically like her hair. I loved what she was wearing at the event. I just think she looks great. She's classy, and she's just like, she doesn't need to put on that kind of false air in a way. I mean, she's uppity, but that's just who she is. She's just confident, I guess, in that way. I like that about her. Ellen at yrchat.com, also a little tidbit here saying, by the way, the actor who plays Graham's only 42. His silver fox look seems to have people confused. He's not a senior citizen. Yeah, 42. I mean, shoot. I do love his silvery hair. I just think that the actor has so much potential. Marianne at yrchat.com left a comment here saying, wild card, Nikki and Graham. Except for Jack, Nikki doesn't like or know any of Dina's family. She doesn't like Ashley or Dina. Graham doesn't know Victor Newman, yet to have an opinion on him. Graham could become Y&R's Deacon Sharp. His character's such a blank slate, they could connect him to Sheila even and do crossovers. Yeah, I know, there's potential there. They're gonna need to bring him back from the edge. I'm gonna end on this great comment from T. Nicole, yrchat.com, saying, I just have to say, Ashley looked so beautiful when she came out dressed for her party. Just makeup, perfectly straight hair, and she looked great in that dress. I personally loved Ashley's look, and I always get excited seeing Tracy on the screen as well. Maybe we could do a ribbon and raspberries for the party attire. Well, you know, I was looking at all that. I have to say, my big ribbon of the week, like you, would have to go to Ashley. I think she was gorgeous in her gown, and I think that she also looked really great the day before at the office, where she had that tight black skirt and that gray silk shirt. That is like my style. If I had to do business attire, which I don't on a daily basis, that would be something that I would want to wear. As far as the rest of the attire, I mean, the trend for the ladies seemed to be sparkly jackets. Both Tracy and Dina had on these beautiful sparkly jackets. It's something else I think I could rock a sparkly jacket. I thought those were great. I really liked Abby and the fact that they decided to not put her behind a plant this entire week. Actually, there's a scene at Jabot or Newman or something where She was just wearing a black coat that kind of hid it, and then they didn't do anything special for her dress. It was just sort of a loose dress at the party, and I thought that was a good choice. I mean, come on, we can handle it. You know, we don't need file folders every single time she's in a scene. We're mature enough to get it. So I thought, honestly, I thought everybody looked great. There's not a whole, I can't think of a worst dressed. I don't know, maybe the worst dressed would have to be Lauren's boobs, because where were they? It's not a party without Lauren's boobs. Oh, I'm terrible. Well, if you want to give me your ribbons and raspberries for the party attire, or of course for any point during the week, you can go to yrchat.com to leave me your comments about that or about anything else regarding the show. I love hearing from you guys. I hope everybody has a good week. Call the voicemail 309-588-4569, and we'll be back next week to chat about our show. Love ya. Bye.